This week, I want to talk about all those toys that video game creators are making for their video games. I'm talking about Skylanders, Disney Infinity, and more recently, Nintendo's Amiibo. And guess who's joining the party? LEGO. My name is Tara Babcock, and you're watching Zoomin.tv Games' Tara Show.
Honey, I think I might have opened a dimensional vortex.
Yep, you heard me right. LEGO, Warner Bros. Interactive, announced LEGO Dimensions. But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about the competition. Activision pioneered a few years back with Skylander. It was actually the first game that allowed you to load toys into the actual game. Thanks to a built-in NFC chip, all of your progress can be transferred between the toy and the game. That means that all of your progress is going to stay on the toy. While I love the fact that this technology exists and the fact that Activision pioneered something this cool, it seems very kiddish the way they make the figures. I mean, every time I go to my local game store, I see the little figurines for HeroClix and I want to get into that game, even though the game is probably stupid. Something like that, something that awesome would definitely get me into toy and video game conversion. Like if the figurines were super badass, I would love collecting them while playing a super badass game, but it seems to be directed towards kids. After the initial Skylanders hype, there were more to jump on the bandwagon. One of the most notable, of course, is Disney Infinity. Disney Infinity was made so that it can easily be expanded, which means that anytime there's a new theme, new toys can be added. And they can range from Disney, Pixar, and Marvel. And of course, I love these franchises like most people do, but I still feel like it's geared toward kids. Sure, when you think of toys, you think of kids, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the case. And of course, we have Nintendo Amiibo as the newest kid on the block, but it definitely showcases the weakness of the NFC technology.
Just tap Amiibo to the Wii U gamepad controller. No extra hardware or accessories required, and watch them come to life as the ultimate partner character in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U.
Right now, you can only save one game's data on each Amiibo toy, which means that you have data from Super Smash Bros. On there, you better not save another game's data on there or it'll be lost forever. I think it goes without saying that that limitation sucks a lot of dick. And not in the good way. And now we're gonna have LEGO Dimensions. It's basically gonna be a light-hearted action-adventure game like its competitors, and of course you're gonna have to stick the toy on a special portal like all the others as well. But there's a funny little quirk that comes with it being from LEGO. The portal is made out of Legos and you have to build it yourself. That's actually the cutest thing I've ever heard. And it's special customizable things like that that make me more interested in playing toy-based games. The game's gonna come with Batman, Gandalf from Lord of the Rings, and Wildstyle, which we think is gonna be from the LEGO movie. Oh, and there might be a tiny Batmobile that you can summon into the game. I think that's a pretty solid basic package if you ask me. And of course, there's gonna be expansions. Things like Back to the Future and Wizard of Oz have already been announced. And like all of the other LEGO franchises, Traveler's Tale made the game, so we're going to be looking at a bunch of other awesome things like they did before, like Star Wars and all of that. Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, DC, Marvel, oh wait, maybe not Marvel because of, you know, Disney Infinity. But oh well. And as you guys can probably guess, with Skylanders, there are some really rare toys out there that go for like $100 a pop. With LEGO, do you think there's going to be something that gets that degree of rarity? I hope so, that would make it more exciting, right? It's kind of like Beanie Babies back in the day.
This is a set of 6 beanies. These are tie beanies. These are the pucker fellas, the real deal, the ones that everyone wants to collect. The reason that these are called beanies, by the way, is because they have beans in their bottom. I had that trouble once myself.
As I've said before, I would definitely be open to some kind of really cool, really badass, kind of dark toy and game. But right now, as it stands, all I like to do is when I go into a GameStop store, I like to play with the figures. I don't own any, I haven't played any of the games, and it just sort of seems like it's directed toward children. And if something's directed toward children, it's usually more of a shallow game, and if I want to collect something and spend a lot of money on it, it's not going to be a children's game. But I can definitely see how this kind of game is a guilty pleasure for many of us, and I understand the reasoning behind it.
Oh, don't forget your little zappy stick.
It's called a staff. Yeah, I'm good.
And now we can get into last week's comments. Woo! My buddy 3X Gaming said, "What gets me about sequels is a lot of them aren't actually sequels. Games like Call of Duty, Battlefield, and Assassin's Creed are more like spin-offs than sequels." Okay, so I totally agree on this with you, except for Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed obviously has like about 3 games before it switches to a new assassin, so how is that not a sequel? But yeah, you don't have to play the last Call of Duty to play the new Call of Duty. It's basically just like a slightly enhanced version of the last that they can use for esports. Sophie and Kluft said, There are some sequels I have no problem with, sequels that took years to develop, but sequels that get pushed out every year or even quicker, like every fucking month, looking at you Five Nights at Freddy's, like Call of Duty, FIFA, and Assassin's Creed feel cheap and are most likely unoriginal. Again, I agree with you, and for the record, I fucking hate Five Nights at Freddy's games. I've played all of them and oh my god, why are they even releasing those? I really hope it stops with the trilogy. But with Assassin's Creed, they have different teams that are working on them every year and they do get better. Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite franchises, so it's really hard for me to hate on it, but I do agree that some of the older ones are much better. Like Brotherhood is my favorite by far. And the atheist finally had this to say. So basically this is a defense of the gaming industry being completely lazy and unwilling to take risks. Fuck that. I don't feel like it's that at all. There are plenty new games that are coming out, plenty games that aren't even related to other games. It's just that everyone wants to see their favorite heroes again and again, right? You want to see your favorite protagonists in a new game, and you want people to improve basically upon the first game. Sure, there are some game sequels that are completely lazy and awful and not ready to be released, but that's not something that is true of all sequels, obviously. Alright guys, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you check out my personal channel, which is down in the description. I do have a gaming channel, you guys. Come on. Alright, see you next week.